Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and this is how to use Articuno. So Articuno, first of the legendary trio birds, and let's go and see how this Pokemon stats break down. Actually, pretty solid, that when we look at the 90 hit points, 100 defense, and 125 special defense, we have a pretty solid tank. Not what you expect from a legendary, but it doesn't really have too much offensive capabilities from that special attack and the attack, so might as well make it work as a tanky Pokemon. Unfortunately, when we're looking at its typing, we have a lot to worry about. That 4 times weakness to rocks, 2 times weakness to steel, and there's also fire and electric weaknesses. That's going to suck, and you don't have a lot of resistances, so you don't find many options to switch in and kind of set up your tankiness. However, if we hop into Pokemon Showdown, we can watch Articuno do its work, and pretty much it's going to be some kind of substitute toxic stalling Pokemon with its own form of sustain in Roost, and some kind of attack for Freeze Dry. Now, really, I don't try to do toxic sets too much because really any tanky Pokemon can pretty much slap on toxic, have some form of health, and then be good to go. So it's really free. A lot of the evolutions it can just pretty much run any toxic set, any tanky Pokemon. So Articuno, it is one of those Pokemon where it's kind of one of the better options for it, that with Leftovers or Citrus Berry you can get a lot of just setup going. Leftovers is probably going to be better in the long run, but Citrus Berry does help you just kind of establish and get going for that substitute and toxic. Then after that, you kind of have some damage options. Freeze Dry, I just like it. You know, you don't see Freeze Dry on too many Pokemon, so you might as well have it. But again, Ice Beam works really well. And if you try to get like out set up, you could also go for the Frost Breath. Frost Breath always results in a critical hit, which means if your opponent is boosting their special defense, it's like they're not boosting their special defense, which is better than nothing. So you can have a lot of options from here. Get a decent amount of stab, you can make it work. Also, when we look at Articuno, we can go for an agility offensive that, in a weird way, that even without a high amount of special attack, even with its good just natural defensive bulk, it can actually have a good special attack. So without any speed investment using agility, you can outspeed 135 speed Pokemon, even with a beneficial nature. So get to outspeed Mega Manectric or Pokemon of that speed class. So what I was thinking is you go full hit point investment, that way you can set up your agility rather safely. Now you have a decent amount of special attack, and you can have a Life Orb, Citrus Berry, or Leftovers, Roost to heal back up, Freeze Dry, or coverage move of your choice, and then Ancient Power. Now, Ancient Power, I just like it because instead of trying to gamble on some kind of hidden power move, Ancient Power is just going to let you set up, and if you get a boost to all your stats, defensive boost would be epic, more speed, more special attack, that would be just a gift from the heavens, and that would really help you set up a better chance to sweep and just be a harder Pokemon to knock out, so it can work out pretty well. On top of that, you know, what is an Articuno set without having to mention Mind Reader, Sheer Cold? I was thinking you can go with the full tanky set, have Roost agility, so you use that agility, set up the Mind Reader, Sheer Cold, and that's kind of it. Mind Reader is going to make your next move always hit. Now, the problem is, if they switch out, it does kind of take away the effects of Mind Reader, but it does make it to where Sheer Cold does have that 30% chance to KO, or you can maybe predict them that, you know, if you Mind Read and they've been switching out on it, then you can try to just go for a free Roost, Mind Read them again, and then go for the Sheer Cold. And it's a gimmicky thing, but Articuno's fairly tanky, and I've seen this strat pulled off before, it can work. Then on top of that, I was thinking, well, in doubles, you can get some usage out of Articuno as well, or singles. Make it some kind of really reliable Tailwind Pokemon that has some options from there. Hurricane could make you work in a rain team, or just be that risky move that, I don't like the 70% accuracy, but that's a big hit. 110 power with stab, even with that low special attack, that's going to sting and maybe even KO some Pokemon. Extra sensory for coverage, Frost Breath, one of your ice moves, you can have Freeze Dry, Ice Beam, whatever. But then Tailwind. So Tailwind can help you set up in doubles, or even singles, that you Tailwind, switch out, or try to go for the sweep under that Tailwind, and then you might have 1 or 2 turns for another Pokemon in a singles team to get some good sweeping action. With this, you can have Lumberry, but that's kind of what Articuno has, since it's a tanky battler. Leftovers, Citrus Berry, Lumberry, any of these sets, any of those items can work. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and that's how you use Articuno.